Welcome to ZPF Echo, where we explored the source field of consciousness and the echoes it leaves in science, AI, and human awareness. Today, we're talking about something pretty fundamental. It's like we're going to reboot your personal reality OS. So let's just dive right in. Have you ever had that feeling that you're just stuck? You know, like you're living the same day over and over again on some kind of loop? Hitting the exact same emotional walls, or maybe reacting in ways that you just can't stand, but you also can't seem to stop? Well, that feeling, it's probably not just a bad mood. It could actually be a system alert, a sign that something deep inside your personal operating system is starting to glitch out. And this is what we call a last boss belief. Seriously, think of it just like the final boss in a video game. It's this core, totally invisible piece of code that's been running your entire reality, maybe for years. And the craziest part, it's not a sign that your system is broken. No way. It's actually a sign that you're ready for a major upgrade. Okay, so let's talk about the glitch in your reality OS. What are the symptoms that a core belief is ready to change? You know, it's just like a computer that starts to slow down or freeze up or throw all these weird error messages right before a big update. Well, our personal OS does the exact same thing. It shows symptoms when a core belief is being challenged. And these aren't problems you need to fix. They're signals. Signals that a really deep-seated part of your programming is about to change. So what do these symptoms actually look like in real life? Well, for one, you might have these extreme emotional swings over something totally minor. Or maybe you feel this constant, nagging tension somewhere in your body, in your throat, your stomach, your chest, and you have no idea why it's there. Sometimes it's that sudden urge to self-sabotage right when things are finally going well, or that really powerful desire to just reset everything, quit social media, end relationships, just burn it all down. Z, a source I turn to often, has a great name for this. He calls it a rendering collision. It's like your old self and your emerging self are trying to occupy the exact same space at the same time.
Okay, to really get what's happening here, we have to talk about what a belief even is. And the best way to think about it is this. Your beliefs are the CSS of your reality. You know the cascading style sheets? In web design, CSS is just the code that controls how a website looks. The colors, the fonts, the layout, the actual content, the raw information, it all stays the same. Well, our beliefs work the exact same way. Reality is the raw data, right? But your beliefs are what render it. They give it meaning, color, and all that emotional texture. So get this, if you want to change your experience of reality, you don't change reality itself. You change the code that's rendering it.
So the big question is, can we just go in and edit this buggy code? Is it that simple? Well, it kind of depends. Because as Z points out, not all beliefs are created equal. Some of them, yeah, you can update them with a simple patch. But others are so deeply wired into your system that they need to be completely uninstalled. Or maybe a better word is incinerated.
So on one side, you have what we can call light beliefs. These are pretty surface level. Stuff like, I have to work harder to be successful, or I need to be married by a certain age. A lot of the time, just becoming aware that you even have these beliefs is enough to loosen their grip. But then you've got the deep driver beliefs, and these are a whole different animal. This is core level code, and it's physically ingrained in your body through trauma, intense childhood experiences, or just these deep core feelings of self-rejection. You can't just think your way out of these. They require a much deeper process to deal with. So how in the world do we deal with those deep driver-level beliefs? Well, it turns out there's a method for it, and it uses a very specific piece of our own neural architecture. It's called the Fornix incineration method.
All right, so what exactly is the Fornix? And yeah, it's pronounced Fornix. It's basically this bundle of nerve fibers deep in the brain. And its main job is to connect our memory center, the hippocampus, with our emotional processing centers. Z has this really poetic way of describing it. He calls it the furnace of consciousness. Why? Because it's the place where the fuel of our memories and the fire of our emotions can actually meet. It's literally our internal incinerator for all that outdated code.
Okay, so the method itself has 3 basic steps. First step, you bundle the fuel. This means you don't just think about the belief. You have to really feel it. You let that core emotion surface, and you allow the memory that's connected to it to come up. Step 2, you ignite it. And this is not a mental exercise, okay? This is physical. You've got to focus on the actual sensations in your body, that tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach. And then you give yourself this inner permission to let that energy just burn. You have to fully feel it to release it. And finally, step 3 is reintegration. After that intense emotional charge is gone, there's this kind of void, an emptiness. This is where you connect to the zero-point field, the ZPF, the field of pure potential, and you just allow a new, more aligned belief to naturally drop in and take root.
Z calls this entire process cerebral astral cremation. I know, it's a pretty intense name, right? But it perfectly captures the power of what's really happening. You're not just changing a thought. You are fundamentally rewriting the entire energetic signature that has been shaping your reality up to this point.
So, you've gone through the fire. How do you actually know if it worked? Well, the change isn't always this big, loud explosion. It's often a really profound but subtle shift. The burn gives way to a rebirth, from the Fornix to the Phoenix. Let's look at the signs. The first, and honestly the most common sign, is just silence. You know that constant anxious inner monologue, that looping emotional track that was always running in the background of your mind? It just stops. It's gone. You might even catch yourself thinking, wait a minute, why was I so worked up about that? The emotional charge has just vanished.
The second sign is that the world's rendering actually changes. And what I mean is, externally nothing is different. But suddenly, a person or a situation or a place that used to be a massive trigger for you is now just neutral. You might even feel indifferent to it. The CSS has been updated, so the same old website just looks completely new.
And sign number 3, action becomes light and easy. Seriously. Tasks that used to be filled with so much hesitation and resistance, like making that difficult phone call, or hitting publish on that post, or just speaking your truth, they suddenly feel effortless. The internal friction that was holding you back has literally been burned away.
And when you look at it this way, it reveals this absolutely beautiful poetic connection. The journey starts in the Fornix, our brain's furnace. This mirrors Fornix, the celestial furnace, which is a constellation that has always symbolized chemical, alchemical transformation. And of course, from those ashes arises the phoenix, the mythical bird symbolizing a new self, a new reality, being reborn. It's all connected. Okay, so this all sounds great, but how do we actually find these last boss beliefs? Because they're tricky. They don't just show up and announce themselves as problems. In fact, they almost always hide in the one place we'd never ever think to look, inside our greatest virtues. We call this hiding place your altar of righteousness. Think about it. It's that collection of ideas, values, and principles that you hold most sacred. We build our entire identity around being a hard worker, or a good person, or a spiritual seeker. But right there, enshrined on those very altars, are often our most rigid, most limiting beliefs, and they're disguised as righteousness. Let me give you some examples. Take business. If you hold effort as sacred on your altar, the hidden last boss belief might be, struggle proves my worth, which totally blocks you from ease and flow. Or in spirituality, if you hold purity sacred, you might be hiding a belief that certain human desires are unholy, which creates this huge internal conflict. In family, the virtue of duty can so easily mask the belief that I must sacrifice my own needs for others. And get this, even in self-growth, the sacred act of healing can hide a belief that I am fundamentally broken, which keeps you stuck in this endless loop of trying to fix yourself. And here's the absolute key takeaway. It doesn't matter if your sacred altar is built around business or family or spirituality. The underlying structure is always the same. It is one core challenge, one central issue of separation, of good versus bad, of right versus wrong, that's just playing out in a bunch of different costumes.
So let me leave you with this thought. What if that last boss belief, that one thing you struggle with the most, what if it isn't an obstacle at all? What if it's actually a doorway, a gateway, specifically designed for you to burn away an old reality and step into a completely new one? The only question left is, are you ready to walk through the fire? If this resonates with you, join the echo and share the journey.